Welcome back into Columbia County Magazine, and we are talking with Julie Farrell, this time Position 2 candidate on the St. Helens School Board. And Julie, thanks for coming in, first of all.
Thank you for having me.
We appreciate that. Let's just jump right into it. Let's maybe start with the reasons that you felt, first off, that you wanted to run for the school board.
Well, there's a number of reasons, but I have 4 children, and
That's a pretty good reason right there.
That is a really good reason.
Yes.
My oldest is 18, and my youngest is 10, and we've been in the St. Helens School District for all of their schooling years.
Sure.
And so I have a lot of experience with the schools, and mostly I'm interested in running for the school board now because my youngest child has a disability. It's good that I've learned a lot about the special education aspect of the school district.
So how do we stack up then, special ed-wise, here in St. Helens right now?
Well, I think we could use some improvement.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's why you're running for the school board.
That's why I'm running for the school board. That's
Okay.
correct. I'm very interested in that aspect. However, I'm a manager by heart and by experience in the past, and so I want to help make some improvements to the whole school district in general.
The school board's been through some rocky times here as of late with some of the members, and the controversies, everything from security at the school to, I think, the expansion of, if I recall, the Columbia City School reopening, that sort of thing.
Right.
It just sounds like there's a lot of change in the works. And so this is going to be a challenging time for you to do this. If you could narrow down maybe 1 or 2 key issues that you'd like to jump into, first off, what would those be?
Well, first of all, I want to get everybody to work together because I don't feel comfortable going in and saying this is what I want to change. Although I feel inside there's several things that I'm passionate about that I'd like to change. But I think pulling everybody on the school board, in the schools, and the community together and bringing back trust is the right thing. Because I know from my own experience, when I moved here in 2000, and I moved by the school that my children attended, and then just within a few years, there was huge change that happened without talking to the public just over the summer, and everybody was shocked, and the schools have been in flux since then.
Okay, when you say huge change, maybe help us understand what you mean by that.
Well, back when my 2 older kids were in elementary school is when they started closing schools down and realigning. I think they put 9th grade at the time at the high school, and they had 6th grade go to Columbia City, and then McBride had kindergarten 1st and 2nd grade. Lewis and Clark had 3rd, 4th, and 5th. And that all changed really without a lot of public comment.
Yeah, and that's kind of disruptive for kids, too, because they get, into school with their peers, and then all of a sudden they're gone. And you have to make a whole new set of friends or teachers change, and it's kind of tough.
Right. It was, and you could tell that there wasn't a lot of thought. I don't want to slam anybody personally, but I feel as though there should have been more studying, more thought put into it before those movements happened. For example, I was on the transportation committee that had to clean things up after the fact. So the first day of school after it started in the new with the new alignment, there was kids that were standing in the aisle of the bus that my children were on, and I personally pulled off my kids, my neighbor's kids, and took everybody home in my own car.
So they didn't have to stand. And that's something that the school board can effectively work on and change. That's what they can direct the superintendent. How does that work? I'm not familiar with how that works.
Well, the school board makes the policies.
Okay.
They're the in charge of the superintendent. The superintendent works for the school board.
Okay.
And then the school board watches what the superintendent does, and they keep him on or they don't keep him on, depending on how good of a job he or she does.
I noticed that Mr. Davalos is leaving here all of a sudden to go to Centralia.
Well, that's what the article in the paper says.
Yes, it did. So,
yeah. Although I hadn't heard if he had formally taken the job, but
he says he's accepted the job, but he's just working out the details. So it sounds like it's a pretty much done deal.
Yeah.
So should you win your election and get elected to position 2 of the school board, it looks like you might be working on trying to find a new superintendent right away, too.
And I would love to be part of that hiring process.
Very good. Give us a little bit of your background, Julie. What do you do when you don't run kids, manage your kids, and
yeah,
a little background there.
Well, I have 4 kids, like I said.
That's pretty much a full-time job.
That is
I
a
understand
full-time
that.
job.
Yes.
At one point, I calculated how many loads of dishes and clothes I did, and it was a huge amount.
Right.
But that's what I've done for the last 10 years. But before that, I was in the military, and I was active duty. I started out enlisted, and I worked my way up, and they put me through officer candidate school, and I became an officer.
Wonderful. Good for you.
Thank you.
My father was a chief warrant in the Navy, so I'm familiar with the military regimen, and I think it was great for bringing us kids up, me and my brothers. So I didn't think about that at the time, but now I think it was very helpful.
Yes, I agree.
If you had to say anything then to the voters right now in asking for a vote, what would you say today?
Well, I'm passionate about the education of all the kids, not just a certain group, because I have children who are talented and gifted. I have children who are in the average range, and I have children in the special education range, and so I care about all of the kids. I like athletics. I care about that. I care about if people have behavior issues and those sorts of things. So I think the voters can trust that I've done a lot of research on these things, and I want to help everybody.
All right, very good. Julie Farrell for position 2, St. Helens School Board. Good luck to you, Julie, in the campaign.
Thank you very much.
And I'm sure we'll talk to you again soon.
I would love it.
And we'll come right back here on Columbia County Magazine after this timeout.